What if Deathstroke was as fast as the Flash? Today we're going to be exploring the Lazarus contract, a crossover between the Titans, the Teen Titans, and Deathstroke, where Deathstroke discovers that time has been altered and he may have a way to save his son. Welcome to the Complete Story Series, where I take trade paperbacks in single issues and I break them down into digestible bites to help you understand. Then I read them dramatically back to you. All alterations to the panels, text, and images are to prevent copyright problems, and all art is owned by its respective companies. In the center of the city, Ravager has defeated all of the Titans and has pinned Robin to the ground. Donna yells out that Ravager is so fast he's unstoppable, and he sneers, telling her, "That's right, I've made me faster, stronger. Now nothing can stop the Ravager. I'm practically invincible." But as he's gloating, he reels back in pain, and the Titans watch him hit the ground. Omen yells out that it's his heart. His heart is failing, and as he dies, there on the streets, Deathstroke comes running out of the woodwork, calling out for Grant. He runs over to Ravager, holding him in his arms, asking, "What did you do?" And Ravager looks at Deathstroke. "Deathstroke, did I get them? Did I kill the Titans?" And as he dies, Deathstroke holds him close. "Yes, you got them all." He picks up his son in his arms and he tells the Titans, "My son died here because of you, and someday soon, you'll all pay for that." Which now brings us to the current day, with Deathstroke waking up out of costume from a surgery in which his eyesight was restored. That's the recent storyline for Deathstroke. He was rendered blind, and now that's been resolved. Wintergreen tells him that his daughter Rose is in stable condition, and Jericho is in rehab, but Grant is still dead. Deathstroke looks at Wintergreen and he tells him, "You kept calling out Grant in your sleep." Meanwhile, Wally and the Titans are fighting against an enemy when Wally finds himself out of place and out of time. He has no idea where he is, and someone calls out, "What's your name?" Wally tells him, "I'm Wally West and I'm the fastest man alive." But he quickly wonders why he answered whatever that voice was. The voice tells him to keep running, and while he tries to argue, he's shocked by a device on his wrists and ankles. Wally continues to run, asking, "Who are you? How did you swipe me in broad daylight with the Titans around?" And the voice continues, 300 miles per hour. Wally thinks about it. "I know that voice. It's Deathstroke. He kidnapped me." And Deathstroke asks him, "Tell me about the Titans." Wally continues, "The Titans were formed in secret to prove to our mentors that stop making me do that!" And Deathstroke tells him, 500 miles an hour. "You vanished. Where have you been? Abracadabra threw me into the time stream, but you came back. I escaped from it. The Flash pulled me out, but I remember a different world. That's how I know you. Something or someone has changed history. Who? I don't know! I don't know! Halt Treadmill. Wally West, I have a deal for you. You were there when the Ravager died. Yeah, that was years ago. The Titans killed my son. It wasn't us, Deathstroke. Hive's powers are too much for him. His heart couldn't take it. I tried to save him, I tried, but I wasn't fast enough." Slade turns his head as he remembers the scene. Wally is strapped into another machine as he asks him, "Speed bends time. You and the other Flashes can time travel, right?" "Yes, but we won't because..." But it's too late. Slade turns on the machine and Wally begins to vibrate uncontrollably. "Slade, stop! Don't do it! I lost everything when I returned, and I struggle with the idea that I can go back and fix it. But I don't, because you have to keep moving forward!" Wally shouts as he breaks out of the machine, tackling Deathstroke. Slade ducks and dodges as Wally moves super fast trying to get him. But when he finally pins Deathstroke to a wall, Deathstroke offers him a proposal. "Wally, help me bring my son back, and I will stop being Deathstroke forever. No more costume. No more contracts, no more killing. Save one life, and you save thousands." Wally's eyes go wide as he considers the offer, but then he turns away. "I'm sorry, Slade. I can't do that." Slade pushes a button. "I figured. That's why I have a backup plan." And behind the wall is the younger Wally West that was created in this new timeline. And he yells at the original Wally, "Your name's Wally West? How can you be Wally West when I'm Wally West?" Now, to attempt to keep things from getting confusing, we're going to refer to the original Wally West as Flash from this point on. The new Wally West will be Wally West. And for a short version of why there are two Wally Wests, well, one was introduced as a replacement during the New 52, but the original Wally West was recently brought back in the DC Rebirth. They're actually making this a plot point in DC Rebirth, as you can see. But if you're interested in his return, I will link DC Rebirth down below. Flash turns to Wally. "Do not trust this man, he's Deathstroke." And Deathstroke responds by shocking Flash and knocking him out. He then removes his helmet, telling Wally that together they can fix what's broken. He just has to trust him. This is all to bring back his son and stop the villain known as Deathstroke. Let him be Slade with his son Grant. And Wally, not knowing the horror that is Deathstroke, as he is a new superhero on the scene, begins to consider it. Meanwhile, back at the Titan headquarters, their screen pops on, and Damian tells the Titans to meet the Teen Titans on the roof. Both of them are missing a speedster, and they need to figure this out. Both teams arrive to the rooftop, and Damian turns to Nightwing. "You're a traitor! Since this isn't a smart way to begin a discussion, Donna grabs Damian and both teams get ready to defend their own. But as Nightwing holds his hand up, Robin's right. I made a deal with Deathstroke. Let's not fight. I promise I'll explain it later, but first we need to figure this out. If Deathstroke has both of our speedsters, time is the key. Back with Deathstroke, he asks Wally to run with him, allow him to show him his history. He brings Wally to the hospital bed that Rose, his daughter, is in, to the rehab center that his son Joseph is in, and to the grave of his son Grant. He explains that it started with Grant, but if they can save Grant, they can save Slade's family. And if Wally agrees to help, it'll end Deathstroke forever. But Deathstroke informs him, "You already did when you ran with me, Wally. You've already helped me." Meanwhile, the Teen Titans and the Titans move forward because of a tracker that Damian placed onto Wally. The Teen Titans were a little weirded out to discover that Damian has trackers in all of them, but it apparently has now paid off. As they enter the hideout, they find the Flash unconscious, and they wake him up. As he wakes up, he shouts, "We have no time! We have to stop Slade!" And that's when Slade runs into the room with a Coca-Coom! He informs them as he stands in front of a defeated Wally that the Speed Force is now coursing through his Icon suit. "I have all the time in the world." Slade Wilson, aka Deathstroke, now has Speed Force-based powers by draining Wally West of his powers with the Icon suit when Wally ran with him. Slade runs off with a Coca-Coom! And Flash gives a chase. "Leave me alone, Flash. I mean you no harm. The deal is still in place." "Deal? What are you talking about?" As they get faster and faster, Slade explains that he stored the energy of Wally West to give him this speed. And as for the deal, well, he made that with someone else. A long time ago, Dick Grayson rode up to where Deathstroke was, and he was shot up by an onslaught of rubber bullets. Deathstroke had just learned that he had a daughter named Rose, and he knew that she would need care and training, so he made an arrangement with Dick Grayson. If Dick Grayson and the Titans could train Rose to have the morale and the values of a hero, he wouldn't kill any of them. The Titans would be off the table. Deathstroke and Flash run at increasing speeds through the snow-filled plains until Deathstroke stops with a whoom! Your speed is your singular advantage, Flash, and when facing someone as fast as you, the playing field is leveled. Deathstroke is ready to draw his sword. Here, in Bullet Time, we're the same. Two men about to fight it out. I'm a trained killer, but what are you if you aren't the fastest man alive, Flash? Leave me to what I want to do. Flash thinks about it, and he runs away. As Deathstroke watches him, he comments, "Yeah, I thought so." The Titans and the Teen Titans are trying to figure out what to do while Damian lays into Wally about giving his powers to a killer. Meanwhile, Flash has a plan and he runs to Jericho, the other son of Deathstroke, to ask for help. Jericho has an odd assortment of powers, from telepathy to being able to control others. But after asking him why Slade is trying to do this, Jericho explains that Slade will never accept the death of Grant. Nightwing then calls up the Flash, telling him that they have a plan and everyone needs to meet at the site of Grant's death. So Flash brings Jericho along for the ride. Elsewhere in the time stream, Grant is running, trying to get ready to fight the Titans when Deathstroke appears in front of him, and he takes his mask off, hugging his son. Finally, and at last. But once Grant realizes that Slade is his hero, Deathstroke, he freaks out. Slade was a horrible father who treated his kids like dirt to make them manly men. Slade tries to talk him out of his actions, telling him that they do not need to fight, they can become a family again. And Grant yells at him that he'll prove his worth. He has the powers now gifted to him by Hive. He'll defeat the Titans. And Slade knocks him out. Just because he wants to be a dad again doesn't mean that he suddenly gained patience. Crap, this didn't go any better than my first two attempts at correcting the timeline. I'll just go farther back into the timeline and fix this even earlier. And crack-a-boom! He runs off again. Back in the current day, the Teen Titans and the Titans are now arriving at the location that Grant died. And with that, Flash and Jericho arrive. Jericho explains that he is Grant Wilson's brother. He is Slade Wilson's other son. And Nightwing asks Flash the status on Deathstroke, and Jericho chimes in, informing them all that Slade is currently in the time stream trying to alter things. Meanwhile, with all of the confusion going on and Damian being rather pissed off that Wally let Deathstroke gain Speed Force powers, Wally was left behind, and Jackson Hyde, Aqualad, was just forgotten about. Wally tries to call up Barry to get him involved and ask for help, but he ends up just getting his voicemail. He stands there defeated, having given up his powers and possibly doomed the entire universe to a trained assassin running through the time stream, and Jackson Hyde blocks the water from raining on him before apologizing for being chatty. This is his first universal crisis. Back with the teams using the powers of the Flash and Jericho, they begin to link everyone together and they create a time vortex running through time, hoping to warn their younger selves of the conflict and not alter things too heavily. As the lightning of the Speed Force and time travel course through the sky, the Titans and the Teen Titans meet meet the original Teen Titans, the younger versions of the Titans. Nightwing warns their younger selves that they are friends and they are trying to stop a killer. But this original team doesn't know about Deathstroke yet, and that's when Damian steps forward. He pushes Nightwing aside, asking the original Robin where Ravager went. They need to find him first. Robin tells him that Ravager vanished and they were about to give chase. Damian tells him, "We'll help." And then he slaps the original Kid Flash in the chest, stopping his heart. Flash of the current day begins to see himself fading out of existence as his younger self is dying. But Flash of the future realizes exactly what Damian is doing. He just cut off the Speed Force connection to Wally West and the new Wally West, which in turn cuts off Deathstroke's connection to the Speed Force. Damian starts to hurl flashbangs at the original Titans to get them off of the case, explaining that the Stone Palm technique will stop Wally West's heart temporarily. And at that moment, as Slade is once again trying to convince Grant to give up his powers, the time stream begins to fade before his eyes, and he slips back into the Speed Force, yelling, "No! No!" Back with all of the Titans and the Teen Titans, Robin of the original team runs over and starts the original Kid Flash's heart back up, which jumpstarts the time stream and the Speed Force, restoring Wally West's powers in the current day and age. He instantly suits back up and crack-a-boom! He runs off, which leaves Jackson Hyde wondering if Wally West is coming back for him or if he was just forgotten about again. The time vortex begins to fade and the Titans and the Teen Titans begin to fade back into the present day, and that's when they see Deathstroke with speedster powers standing on top of some cars, telling them, "You are dead. You took my son again." Beast Boy sees his powers and he asks Damian, "I thought you said you cut the cord to the Speed Force." And Nightwing tells him he did. But somehow Slade is now tapping directly into the Speed Force. He doesn't need the Flash's powers anymore. Deathstroke looks at him. "Yes, I'm tapping directly into it, and I have the power to wipe you all out of existence. But first, I'm gonna go save my son." And crack-a-boom! He runs off again. Jericho falls in behind him. "Pop, you have to stop this. This is crazy." And Slade ignores him. "I can feel it. The power that the speedsters tap directly into. It's like nothing that I've ever felt before." Jericho tries to warn him. "Pop, you're approaching light speed." But it's too late. Deathstroke is running faster than Jericho can keep up with as he shouts, "I will save Grant! Crack-a-boom!" Back at the current timeline, Flash tells everyone that it's over. Deathstroke has entered the Speed Force, and when you enter it, there's no returning. It's the afterlife for a speedster. Everyone agrees that it is technically a win, but that's when Wally West runs over asking how they can call themselves a hero if they are going to let someone die. The argument begins. Deathstroke is a killer, and with super speed, he is a threat to the entire universe. He's not dead, but he's trapped, and it's better than he deserves. But Wally asks, what do we deserve when we behave like him? He runs off into the Speed Force to save Deathstroke. Flash yells for him to stop, telling everyone that he doesn't understand. Once he goes in, he won't know how to get out of the Speed Force. Nightwing stops Flash, though. "Don't chase him. We lost you before. We have to make sure that you can get out. We're gonna build you a rope. Lilith can link us all together and we can use that as a way to get you out." But Damian refuses, telling everyone, "Deathstroke is a killer. I'm not about to support saving him." With him separated from the group, everyone else combines, and Flash runs as fast as he can. He enters with all of his friends talking inside of his head, wondering if Wally even has an idea where he is going. As he goes deeper, he begins to fear being lost again, entering with no exit. And Deathstroke with the Speed Force. How insane is this? He's about to fight the greatest assassin in the world with his own powers. He already ran away from him once because he didn't know if he could do it. His fear then bounces back through the mental link and into the empathic member of the team, Raven. She screams out in fear, creating a shaky link with the Flash. And as the link is fading, Flash begins to panic about that! At that moment, Jackson Hyde leaps out of the water to see everyone in a telepathic trance, and Damian standing there snapping his fingers in front of Raven. "Hey, Raven!" Jackson then asks, "What's going on?" And Damian informs him that Raven is the link holding everyone together, and she's losing the link. All of their mental states are with the Flash, and if he's lost forever, they will all be lost forever. Everyone shouts in Flash's head that they need to abort, they need to fix this, and the Flash informs them, "It's too late, we're going in!" Jackson tries to help Raven, but she doesn't know him, but she does know Damian. He walks forward as stubborn as ever, and he pats her on the head. There. Jackson is shocked. "Seriously, dude?" Raven, "Rachel, it's me, Damian. You're safe. No one will hurt you. Not on my watch. Come on, Raven. Your friends are waiting for you." And once again, crack-a-boom! Wally, Flash, and Deathstroke all fall out of the Speed Force and back onto the ground from which they left. Damian draws his weapons. This leaves us where we started. Deathstroke! And he looks at him, ready to fight. But Deathstroke draws his sword. "Everything. You damn kids cost me everything. But there, inside of the Speed Force, I saw things that no man should ever see. Awareness on multiple planes all at once. And now it's all gone. My link to the Speed Force, my past being fixed. Everything. But Deathstroke should die here as well. So I'm done. Deathstroke is finished. I quit. And with that, Slade walks away, ending the fight. The epilogue for this tale goes in 3 directions. Due to allowing Deathstroke to gain powers and almost ending the entire universe, Damian fired Wally from the Teen Titans. For the Titans, Flash now has a pacemaker from his heart being stopped at a young age, and he should never run again. And Slade feels that it's time to do his own thing, to be a hero, lead a team, maybe a team like the Titans. And that concludes the Lazarus contract, the crossover between the Titans, the Teen Titans, and Deathstroke. All 3 of these stories are pretty epic in the direction that they are going after this storyline. It pretty much shifted up quite a few things, like Wally not being able to run super fast anymore, and in the Teen Titans, Damian still being Damian. But you know, it's still really good, and I personally really did enjoy this crossover, but I love the Titans, I love the Teen Titans, and I love Deathstroke. Man, this is one of those really biased stories for me. I'm sorry, guys. Anyway, don't forget to subscribe to this channel to keep up to date on what's going on in your favorite comic books and get some classic storylines, and you can follow us on Twitter at Comicstorian. I'll see you next time right here. I'm looking longingly into your eyes. Whoever you are, Dan has put this at the end of the video to see if you are really going to stick around. I want you to know that you can go check out a video right here, and you can check out a video over here. And these fingers probably won't line up at all with where it's going to be on the screen, but you and I, we can spend a little bit more time together if you just click one of these videos. Thank you.